Welcome, dear listeners. I'm Jonathan Carlin.
And I'm Benjamin Carlin.
And we invite you to join us through the Griffin door, your one-way ticket to the enchanting world of Harry Potter. So grab your wands and dust off your broomsticks and join us as we unlock the riddles inside Goblet of Fire, Chapter 34, Priori Incantatem.
It's starting to make me a little bit sad that Riddles only has like three
It's
more.
only got a few more.
3 more chapters.
We are so close to the end of this. We've got Priori Incantatem. We've got Veritaserum, and then is it the Parting of the Ways?
Is there the beginning as well, or is that
the Parting of the Ways, and then
the beginning,
and then the beginning? So 4 more.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
man.
So we're closing. I can't believe we're getting to the end of Goblet of Fire. I was talking to our dad about the podcast over the weekend, and he was like, "Wow, you guys are on like Order of the Phoenix already? Like you guys are moving through it." And I was like, "Yes, but like also when you think, but when you think about the fact that like Goblet of Fire is as long as Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets combined, it's like it doesn't seem as bad.
Yeah, and then Order of the Phoenix is going to take us like most of next year.
Right. Yes. It'll be lengthy for sure. I think like just it's like 40-ish chapters maybe.
Yeah.
So it's 52 weeks in a year, so that'll take a decent little chunk there.
That'll take a decent chunk. Plus there will be like the Dumbledore's big plan break in there, and
there's that. Yeah. So not to worry, guys. I mean, it's not we're not at the point where we have to start fearing the end and what we're going to do after all of this. Nothing like that. No, it'll be fine.
We're just at the middle.
We're all good. Oh man, no, I am excited for this chapter though. This is as we've been kind of saying, the finale really takes place over quite a length of chapters here. So there's a lot of the story kind of being wrapped up into this perfect little bow. But as we look at the chapter art for Priori Incantatem, I can't help but feel like it's the wrong choice.
I feel like okay, so I was thinking this about the art and the title of the chapter.
Okay.
Like the artwork, you're right. It's like it's Voldemort's eyes and they're creepy, and I hope that's what they look like in the show, but it's like I don't know why that's the chapter art specifically. Well, like I feel like it should be like the Golden Dome or Lillian James or Harry shooting a spell from his wand, or
right. Like it makes for a very ominous looking chapter art for a chapter that is kind of about like Harry overcoming circumstances. So it's like, I mean, maybe for the reader, especially on like a first pass, what you want is it to be kind of like, oh man, like it's about to happen. Like he's going to have to duel. Like because the last thing we see is now untie him, Wormtail, and give him back his wand.
Right.
So like what you, the reader, know as you like close the book on an evening, because you're reading one chapter per night and you have something to look forward to tomorrow night, is like, okay, Harry's about to have to face it down.
Yeah.
He's about to, this is like full scale Voldemort with a body, with a wand, surrounded by enemies. He has no help. Cedric is there dead. Like there's, I mean,
it looks bad.
It looks bad. So, I mean, I can see a world where the idea here is to introduce that. However, if you go back to the second sentence of chapter 3, you kind of get like a fairly specific description of Voldemort and what he looks like now. And it really matches, because what we get is these two kind of sharp shaped eyes with sort of like the cat eye looking situation going on there. It looks very like almost like devilish,
Absolutely.
It kind of reminds me of the little purple emoji that like looks kind of like, I don't know if it's...
Oh, like the little devil emoji? Yeah. No, exactly the one. You're like, yeah.
Yes. There's like one that's like kind of smiling. He's looking
a little sneaky.
Yeah. And then the other one's kind of like, ooh, just evil. Yeah. But all right, so here's the second sentence of the previous chapter. His hands were like large pale spiders. His long white fingers caressed his own chest. Weird. His arms, his face, the red eyes whose pupils were slits like cats, gleamed still more brightly through the darkness. Like that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Like why not make that the chapter art for the last one?
Yeah, right. Make that what was the chapter art for the last one? Oh, it was the Death Eaters.
The very unusually plotted graveyard.
Yes, where everyone's buried about 3 inches apart.
Right. Or maybe they're using some type of like Tetris based system with different depths of the grave where it's like
gosh.
the one all the way
Don't dig too far.
Yeah, stage left here is basically like, that one's like 20 feet down. And then the one like immediately to the right of it's like 16 feet down. It's like, it works. We have like a feathering system, know? Yeah, it's no problem. Then we don't run into each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so I think it's a straight chapter art. So I drew my own stick figure version of Harry and Voldemort invoking Priori Incantatem.
That is pretty much what I kind of thought it should be. Also, I think the title Priori Incantatem, like it makes sense after you've read the chapter. Well, not even after you've read the chapter. After you've read the chapter after this chapter, it kind of makes sense. And like you've been introduced to the idea of Priori Incantatem back at the World Cup when they use it on Harry's wand to find out whether or not that was the wand that cast the dark mark, which it was. It has not come up again, and you saw it happen then, but at that point they like said the spell Priori Incantatem, and this time it happens. But even if you remembered that from way back at the beginning of the book, you're probably not like, oh, that's what's happening right here.
1,000%.
Other than I guess it's the title of the chapter.
It's not even the next chapter that we're going to get what Priori Incantatem is. Like it won't be, it'll be 2 chapters away. Chapter 36 before Harry, Sirius, and Dumbledore all having the conversation, and it ends up being like, the wand's connected, he said, looking from Harry to Dumbledore. Why? Harry looked at Dumbledore again, whose face was an arrested look. Priori Incantatem, he muttered.
All right, and what chapter is that in? Is that The Parting of the Ways?
That's chapter 36, The Parting of the Ways.
Okay, The Parting of the Ways is such a good title for that chapter, but you could have also called that one Priori Incantatem.
That would be a great way.
What would you title this chapter, though? Like The Duel, or like...
honestly, I wouldn't hate The Duel.
Yeah.
I know it feels like very like basic. Here's another one that would be like really tricky, but like Lily Again. Or something.
Oh yeah.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Or what else could you? It could be like, even if it was like Expelliarmus or something.
Oh yeah. No, that could be a good one. Avada Kedavra would probably be.
Avada Kedavra would be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Avada Kedavra is pretty solid,
especially if you're coming into this and you're sort of like, well, there's still, what, how many chapters did we say left? At least a few chapters left here. It's like in this chapter, he's about to fight Voldemort, and it's called Avada Kedavra.
He already killed Cedric.
Right. It's like, this isn't looking good.
It's not looking good for young Harold. Yeah.
So no, I think it's an interesting one. I mean, I can only imagine what the stress is like when you're coming up with chapter titles and what to depict in instances where we have chapter art period. Because you're giving the reader pieces of information. So
right.
There's only so much you can do. And for the most part, you look at it for a split second and then you keep moving. It's not like most people are spending as much time on it as we currently are.
Well, we are, man.
Well, we are. That's part of the process. So anyway, yep, that's what I would change it to. I would change it to Avada Kedavra. Because I think that would be very ominous.
It would, especially when it's like, he's like, oh, we're going to duel.
Right.
Yeah. And like, you already know that. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So anyway, so let's read our first sentence here. It says, Wormtail approached Harry, who scrambled to find his feet to support his own weight before the ropes were untied. And then the dragons arrived.
Ooh. You're so screwed now.
I know.
It's like, I think it's the scene from Infinity War when Thor shows up in Wakanda. And Bruce has like the helmet down on the Hulkbuster.
On the Hulkbuster.
Yeah. You guys are so screwed now.
Yeah.
Because then it feels like the dragons are absolutely. I think I said something very similar for the last chapter, but the dragons are definitely there to help Harry.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
Of course. Yeah. In this situation, it's like Harry's scrambling up. It's like, oh my gosh, hurry! Boom, the dragons. Oh, thank God. Here we go.
I know. Yeah, that turns the tide awful quick for young Harry.
Also, I think I misspoke last chapter. I said I thought that the only thing Wormtail ever did with his silver hand was crush that twig into dust, but also he cuts through the bonds tying Harry to the gravestone.
You are right.
He does do one other thing with it.
This hand is like, it makes me feel like it was an abandoned plan.
It was like,
because it feels like the setup here is basically like Wormtail, who has just been this like, little scared man with watery eyes who kind of vaguely resembles a rat, like now has this like really formidable, like, asset
Right.
in the form of the silver hand. And it seems like it's really strong. Like the exact phrasing we get is that Wormtail raised his new silver hand, pulled out the wad of material gagging Harry, and then with one swipe cut through the bonds tying Harry to the gravestone. Like,
right.
That makes it like Harry has been immobile this whole time. So the fact that he's just like, shwa.
Yeah. I mean, like, hands aren't sharp,
Not historically.
Not historically. So this is a pretty strong hand.
Right.
For sure. But that's about as exciting as it's ever going to get until it chokes him to death in a couple of books here, or 3 books from now.
Right.
It's not going to be like, there's never even going to be a situation where it's like Wormtail punched down a door or something.
Yeah, right. I know.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like you could do that, or like even like use it to like intimidate Snape, or because like if anything, it seems like what's really going to happen to him is he's just going to become like really a like pathetic henchman.
Yeah,
like
that's kind of it. Like he doesn't even show up to the battle of the Department of Mysteries.
Right.
Like, which is bonkers to me. That would have been actually hilarious if like Harry tossed it to Peter and the silver hand crushed the orb and like that's how the prophecy got smashed.
That would be so funny.
That would be so Voldemort too, to be like, oh, you made the thing that defeated you.
It would even be like kind of poetic justice too, because like on the flip side, James is like the seeker who can capture. Well, he wasn't. Was he a seeker? That's always like
we don't know. I mean, he plays with a snitch.
He plays with a snitch.
Yeah.
But either way, I think we can assume James would have caught the ball.
Yeah.
And that would be an instance where Wormtail, who seems by description less coordinated, and with this cumbersome, overly powerful hand, can't do the delicate work that Harry is doing,
right?
By comparison,
yeah, it would also feel like fitting for like, I don't know, for Wormtail to be punished, because like Wormtail is only ever put in this position of power because the because the prophecy is made and the Potters are hidden, he is made the secret keeper.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, now like you delivered the Potters to Voldemort, but you like fail to deliver the prophecy or something.
Right. Yeah. That would have been awesome. But anyway, so let's see here. Yeah. So Harry is cut free, and Harry basically falls to the ground. He has that split second where he considers running for it, which I mean, this
might have considered running for it. It's like telling you, it's not even what Harry thinks. It's just like the narrator for your benefit is like, in case you're wondering, Harry had about half a second where he could have thought about running.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I highlighted that. I was like, as if.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, there's no way in the way. I mean, not just for like main character energy purposes. That's just not Harry.
This is not Harry.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it vaguely reminds me of like when he thinks that like, Sirius Black deserves the Dementor's kiss for like a second, and Lupin's sort of like, do you really think anybody deserves that? And then in the end, even like when he discovers the true betrayal of Wormtail, he's like, no, mercy.
Yeah. Mercy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, yeah. In this case, there's no instance where Harry's running for it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So the Death Eaters close ranks. They're forming a tighter circle around Voldemort, so the gaps where the missing Death Eaters should have been filled. Wormtail walked out of the circle to place Cedric's body. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry.
To the place where Cedric's bodies lay.
Yes, Wormtail walks over to where Cedric's body lay and returned with Harry's wand. Fortunately, he didn't crumble that.
Yeah, I know. Because that would have been so bad.
I would have been like, uh-oh.
Crunch. Here you go.
Especially given the extreme importance of what's about to happen.
Oh, I know. He could have done it. We know we can crush a twig, so this could have been it. It would have been like, give him his wand, Wormtail. Snap. Here you go, Harry. Whoops. Ha-ha.
Right.
That would have felt like, but it also says which he thrust roughly into Harry's hand without looking at him, which I think that sentence right there is like, you're like he cannot make eye contact with Harry. Like he is ashamed a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wrote the same thing. I was like, he can't look James and Lily in the face and the eyes.
Yes, exactly.
Because like he's looking at James's face and Lily's eyes, and it's like he can't. He
already knows that, like, because this is the thing. Harry spared his life.
Right.
Voldemort, he just helped bring back, and then he threw him against the headstone.
Right. Right. I know. Yes, exactly. It's like
he's just like
Wormtail. Read the room.
Man. It's like, he cannot make eye contact with Harry. And eventually, I guess he will, and that's when he has his like moment of. Can you imagine if it happened here, where if he was just like, sorry?
Oh my gosh! I know.
Just immediately.
I mean, honestly, as useless as he's going to be for so far into the future, it almost feels like that's just what should
may as
happen.
well. He doesn't do anything else. Yeah.
Right, I know. But yeah, then you get the line, you have been taught how to duel, Harry Potter, said Voldemort softly. So I actually put a little speech bubble next to the chapter art and wrote that little speech line there, because then it says, his red eyes glinting through the darkness. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, that line is what
That's the chapter art
That's the chapter art, is the red eyes glinting.
Not to duel, Harry Potter.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then, of course, Harry like tries to remember back. He's like, I guess I sort of did, but all he can remember is the disarming spell, Expelliarmus, that he learned from Snape of all people back at the dueling club in Chamber of Secrets.
Right. And it says, what use would it be to deprive Voldemort of his wand,
I know,
even
I was
if
like,
he could?
Oh, Harry.
It's like
immense.
like the most use.
The most use. You were about to like signature spell yourself right here, bro.
He's about to signature spell himself. He's about to go full defensive when Voldemort's about to go full offensive. But also when it really comes down to the flaw in the plan, the big duel between these two in the end.
Yeah.
It's like what Harry has already preemptively done by stealing Draco's wand is deprive Voldemort of his wand.
Yeah.
In effect.
He disarms him.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's sort of like, it's like Harry here is doubting what will literally be the finishing move on the Dark Lord.
Do you know what is interesting? I haven't really considered this, is that like in this situation, they are in like Tom Riddle Sr.'s they can see the house where he grew up. It is like as much, this is like Tom Riddle's home. It is Voldemort standing with Harry in a circle, but the circle's all Death Eaters. Meanwhile, the next time this is going to happen is going to be in Hogwarts, which is like Harry's home, and they're going to be surrounded by people, but it's going to be all of Harry's supporters.
You're right.
So it's like the complete opposite.
Yes, the tables have quite turned.
The tables
have
quite turned. Yes.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. I love that so much. But like in this particular instance, though, I mean, it really is driving home the fact that Harry is like, I mean, there's almost nothing he can do. Like he knew he was facing the thing in which Moody had always warned, and it was the unblockable Avada Kedavra curse.
Even here, the hiding of Moody's identity is present.
It is.
Right.
Yes. Like even inside of like the very moment Harry is thinking about what he has learned from actually Barty Crouch Jr.
I know.
Yes. So then we get the niceties, which is definitely Voldemort just playing with his food a little bit. But,
absolutely.
We bow to each other, Harry, said Voldemort, bending a little bit, but keeping a snake-like face upturned towards Harry. Come, the niceties must be observed. Bow to death, Harry.
Well, he also says, Dumbledore would like you to show your manners. And it's like, why are you talking about Dumbledore right now, man? He is just like Draco with Harry. He is like obsessed with Dumbledore.
He really is. But it's a good observation of what Dumbledore would like, because Dumbledore weaponizes manners so often.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, it is the kind of smart I aspire to be in life, is to be able to be unfailingly polite while still potentially being able to control a situation.
Right.
Like, it's sort of like, I don't ever want to get to the point where I have to use like raw intimidation.
Yeah.
I would just like to be able to like have enough sense of self and confidence to be able to like do what Dumbledore does.
Right.
But I do think it's funny that it brings up
hard.
manners, because I do think Dumbledore is really big on that.
I know.
But then even the bow to death, Harry, is very interesting, because
it is.
Ultimately, that is what Harry is going to do.
That is how Harry beats him, is
Yes.
by bowing to death.
Yes,
I was
yeah.
like, that's hilarious. Like
I
he
know.
says to do it, and it's like, yeah, he does, and that's how he wins.
Right.
There's so much happening on this page. There's also, it says Harry, it's like giving you Harry's point of view. He thinks he's outnumbered 30-1. That's actually just a poor estimate by Harry. There are not 30 Death Eaters. I think at most there's like 23 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's if you count the people in Azkaban, and we've already gone through the people in the circle. There's not 30 of them there, but I'm sure it feels like that to Harry. I love like the description to it. It says, and Voldemort was right. His mother was not here to die for him this time. And it's like, well, she's not there though.
That's true.
And he says he was quite unprotected. And it's like, that's what you think. Like, no. Well,
you're currently quite protected by twin cores and also
the Love Crux.
The Love Crux.
Yeah.
Yes. Which I hope catches on eventually, because I know that we've always referred to Voldemort taking Lily's sacrifice into his own veins as a love crux.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I've ever successfully heard anybody else or seen it like on any like wikis or anything. But
Love crux. Someone add it to the wiki.
I know. Gosh, we're gonna make those people so mad.
No, we're not.
They're gonna be like, no, you can't just make up words.
You can't just make up words. I mean, it could just be like a trivia thing at the bottom. Just make it like a trivia fact,
like a trivia fact.
Like if fans have dubbed the drops of Voldemort's blood or Harry's blood in Voldemort's veins as a love crux, since it operates similar to a Horcrux, but is powered by love instead.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah. So anyway, then Voldemort is able to control Harry a little bit in this instance, which is interesting because of what's going to happen here in just a couple seconds. But he says, "I said bow," and Harry felt his spine curve as though a huge invisible hand were bending him ruthlessly forward, and the Death Eaters laughed harder than ever. So I mean, obviously, like as far as they're concerned, the Death Eaters are witnessing their victory parade. Like, like everything that has been so undone for 13 years is about to find its way back to even footing.
Right, exactly. And he's totally just taunting him here. And he says, "And now you face me like a man, straight backed and proud, the way your father died." So it's just straight taunting him right there, which is bad news for Voldemort. But then he does hit Harry with the Cruciatus curse. It describes it as pain so intense, so all-consuming, he no longer knew who he was. White-hot knives were piercing every inch of his skin. His head was surely going to burst with pain. I cannot imagine how painful it is.
I know. I mean, it's very interesting, and this was something that like. I think it's a very interesting observation, even as it pertains to the themes of the book, because what he is feeling here is extreme physical pain, and what Voldemort is attempting to get him to do is to beg for death.
Right.
Like he is basically trying to get Harry to ask him to kill him, and the thing that it reminded me of, because it will say he wasn't going to obey Voldemort, he wasn't going to beg. But when Dumbledore is in the cave drinking the drink of despair, he's experiencing not physical pain, but emotional pain, because he is having to witness Grindelwald torturing his brother and sister.
Right.
And at some point in time in the cave, he will literally say, "Kill me."
Right.
So like Dumbledore, under those circumstances, who is a very strong individual, both in magical power and, will, is basically begging for death.
Right.
Yeah.
From presumably Grindelwald, I guess.
Presumably in that particular instance. But I think that's interesting because it's like Voldemort is trying to go for physical pain, but really what he does in the cave is actually more effective. Like that's what really gets through to Dumbledore. Like you probably could never physical pain Dumbledore to death, but you can cut through to his heart.
But how would Harry have reacted to the potion? Do you think he would have begged for death?
That's a good question. What do you think he would see? What would Harry see if he drank the drink of despair?
I don't know. Probably like Sirius going through the veil and Cedric dying. Probably those seem high on the list of.
They seem high, but they're not his fault.
Well, but like I'm sure the potion would make you really feel like they were.
That's probably a good point as well.
Harry likes to assume a lot of blame in these situations.
He absolutely
even when
does.
It's definitely not his fault.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that. And then surprisingly, Voldemort's like, a little break. It's like, dude, it was one spell. You tired already, dude?
Right. That hurt, didn't it, Harry? You don't want me to do that again, do you?
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly like what I think it's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to get Harry to beg for death. But I think that this is also one of those instances where I think Voldemort has no idea just how much that he is playing with fire, because making Harry want to die on purpose is the worst thing that he could do.
Well, I mean, and he's there immediately. So like the big theme, I think, in this chapter is that is exactly what you said. It's like he wasn't going to obey Voldemort. He wasn't going to beg, which is like such true like Gryffindor spirit right there. But like even there, he is kind of accepted. He's like, I am against a way more powerful wizard. I am surrounded. My leg is injured. There is just no way out. And yet he is like, but even so, all I have control over is the terms of my own death.
Right.
And I will be dying on my own terms. I will not be begging for it. I am not going to I'm not going to, what does he say? He says he was going to die. Like he was not going to die like Cedric, that punk. those pitiless eyes. That's not what it says. I'm not going to die like Cedric.
Jay, too soon.
Those pitiless red eyes were telling him so. He was going to die, and there was nothing he could do about it, but he wasn't going to play along. He wasn't going to obey Voldemort. He wasn't going to beg. That is like such like a character statement about Harry. It's like because that's what he does when he walks into the forest. It's like Voldemort tells him, is like, come into the forest and I'll kill you, and that'll be it. That'll be it, Then I'll have what I want. Just do it. And he's like, but Harry goes in, and it's like what he says later. It's like, it's the difference between being forced into the arena and walking in with your head held high.
Right.
And it's like, this is the like choosing to die. It's like Harry doesn't get forced into the forest. He walks in intending to die. And even here, he is not like, I'm not going to like beg you to kill me. Like, I'm going to stand up and I will do it on my terms.
Right, which I mean is very impressive. I mean, not the least of which because he's just 14.
Yes.
But like also to the onlookers, it's like he's making Voldemort look bad.
Oh, he's about to make him look real bad too.
Oh, yes. I mean, the chill that must run through the spines of the Death Eaters with what happens next must be so significant because they, as individuals, all standing there, even though they stand aligned with Voldemort, are all scared of Voldemort, and what's about to happen is going to stump them.
Oh, yeah. They're going to have nothing for it. So, yeah, what happens next is Voldemort tries to put another unforgivable curse on him, the Imperious Curse. And what he wants him to say is the word no. He says, I asked you whether you want me to do that again. Answer me. And he's just suggesting in his brain, just answer no. Say no. Just answer no.
Right, yeah. So basically, he is trying to get Harry to beg for mercy, effectively. But then you get the line, and I love this. I love the phrasing of it. It says, I will not, said a stronger voice in the back of his head. I won't answer. Just answer no. I won't do it. I won't say it. Just answer no.
And then he yells, I won't.
Yes.
So this is interesting because Harry can hear that. Harry and Voldemort must be able to hear this entire conversation, like between their own thoughts or whatever. But to everyone else, what it sounds like happened is he says, I asked you whether you want me to do that again. And then he casts a spell at him and he goes, I won't.
Yeah, right.
He's like,
right.
What?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What do you say?
I guess I feel like we missed something.
But man,
was anybody running legilimens just now?
Yeah, come on. So someone said. But man, what a return volley this is. Voldemort thinks he's serving up an ace, and Harry slams it back down his throat.
Yes,
like if you're the Death Eaters, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah,
did he just throw off the Imperious Curse from Voldemort from Big V? This can't. What?
That can't.
That's not right.
Right, and that's exactly what we get. You won't, said Voldemort quietly, and the Death Eaters were not laughing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's again, you got to think of the context. It's a 14-year-old who literally just like overcame the person that everybody else there is deathly afraid of.
Yeah, and at this point, Voldemort, I feel like he's doing a good job of keeping his cool. He's like, Harry, obedience is a virtue I need to teach you before you die. Perhaps he's like, okay, all right, I'm going to recover real quick. You know, it did work, that Cruciatus Curse. I'm going to go back to that one.
Right,
but
yes.
What's really ironic right here that he throws off the Imperious Curse is, and that he's going to use Expelliarmus later, is that Harry's able to throw off the Imperious Curse because a Death Eater taught him how. And he's going to cast Expelliarmus because a Death Eater taught him how.
True, yes. Yeah. I mean, it all funnels into the same column, which is this constant, unfailing knack that Voldemort has for constantly being his own demise.
Yes.
Like everything is always his fault, just coming back to serve him what he's due.
Yep.
But then you get another interesting line here. It says, Voldemort raised his wand, but this time Harry was ready. With the reflexes born of his Quidditch training, he flung himself sideways onto the ground. He rolled behind the marble headstone of Voldemort's father, and he heard it crack as the curse missed him. The reference to the Quidditch training is sort of another one of those things that like we constantly use this quote that Dumbledore says in King's Cross Station, but it's like the of children's tales and house elves and children's tales. But like when it comes down to the final duel, like I think Harry will cast Expelliarmus, and it will say like with the unfailing
skill of the Seeker.
With the yes,
caught the Elder Wand.
Yes. So it's just another one of those instances where something as like innocent, happy, playful, joyous as Quidditch. It's even the first thing, like when Harry is first riding his broomstick, it's the thing he thinks of to try to cast his first Patronus. It's like, this is something that makes Harry happy, and he is able to use the thing that makes him happy against Voldemort.
Right. It's like it happens here and in the next time, because those are such, I think it's no accident either. It says yes, with reflexes born of his Quidditch training, which, it mentions Quidditch while he's dueling Voldemort. It will mention Quidditch the next time. It is just like house elves and children's tales, just like you said. It is the kind of thing Voldemort doesn't understand. He doesn't understand sports.
Right.
He doesn't understand like community or any of that stuff. So like the fact it's like no surprise that Harry is able to use those sorts of things to beat him.
Exactly. Yes. Or even teamwork for that matter. It's
Yeah.
like, he could claim that he has a team, but really he has servants.
Right.
Yeah. To his wishes, to his bidding. Let's see here. So then he starts taunting him a little bit more. Yeah. So he's keeping his game face on. It's like all you could think is that Voldemort is reeling in the back of his head, and he's like, "This is so not going how I pictured it right now.
You are embarrassing me."
Right. "We are not playing hide and seek, Harry," said Voldemort's soft, cold voice, drawing near as the Death Eaters laughed. Okay, so now they're laughing again. They think this is hilarious. "You cannot hide from me. Does this mean that you are tired of our duel? Does this mean that you would prefer me to finish it now? Harry, come out. Come out and play then. It will be quick. It might even be painless. I would not know. I have never died."
Yeah, but what you went through was pretty painful, is what it sounds like.
Yes, it was super painful. And also, I mean, on some level, you will never die.
I wrote that too. I was like, yeah, I've never died. I was like, and you never truly will.
Right. So it's like really what you experience is way worse. Especially compared to like what Sirius says, in the forest again, it's, Harry goes and he can't help it. He's standing in front of the people he sees as like his parents, the people he could look up to in life. And he's just sort of like, "Does it hurt?" And, Sirius is like, "It's quicker and easier than falling asleep."
Right.
And, so it's like on some level, I think that that's supposed to be part of like the sense of peace that we're supposed to have with our perspective towards death. Whereas Voldemort is convinced that it's like filled with pain and agony and despair and humiliation and all of these things that are incorrect. But the irony is that he will get stuck in limbo experiencing all of those things forever. And so, it's so much worse.
Yeah. So I guess he kind of gets what he wants. He never truly dies.
That's right.
Yeah. But see, then we get back to sort of the same sentiment we had on the last page. It says he was not going to die crouching here like a child playing hide and seek. He was not going to die kneeling at Voldemort's feet. He was going to die upright like his father, and he was going to die trying to defend himself, even if no defense was possible. So once again, on his terms, like he knows he's going to die, but at least he has control over how it goes.
Yes. And the one line I want to point out, because it's going to matter here in about a page or a page and a half, just as something to like kind of like mentally earmark, is the phrase, "he was going to die upright like his father." I think that's something. I think this is something I want to come back to, because there is actually a modification, a very important modification that happens to the story here on the next page. And it's like I think that there is one small, I like the change, but I think that line conflicts with the change.
Yes, I think it does. I think this was intended for the initial. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. Okay. Yep. So just a small little piece there. But before Voldemort could stick his snake-like face around the headstone, Harry stood up. He gripped his wand tightly in his hand, thrust it in front of him, and threw himself around the headstone facing Voldemort. And so,
once again, he's doing it on his own terms. He is stepping out there. Voldemort didn't flush him out or anything like that. He is just like standing up,
right,
ready to fight. And Harry shouts, "Expelliarmus!" And Voldemort says, "Avada Kedavra!" And there you go. Green meets red, and here we go.
Yes. So the green and red, of course, we talked about plenty of times, but it's the constant mirror between the two, the Slytherin, the Gryffindor, the eyes, the spells. It's, they are meant to sort of be like two sides of different coins or something.
Yes, but then when they meet, they turn into a big golden beam between the two. I think it's gold specifically because it's a phoenix tail that they both have in their wands, which phoenixes are, of course, red, but the tail feathers are gold.
And this sort of got me wondering a little bit, because you're right. Like, there's going to be a lot of really positive things that come from the phoenix, especially Fawkes in particular's tail feathers inside of these two, particular people's wands. And they're all things that seem like they come to Harry's aid, but there's also going to be a moment where like Voldemort is hearing things that Harry's not hearing. And so it makes you wonder a little bit if their experiences are both the same but different, or even if there's like a duality to phoenixes, like which we've never really scratched the edge of that, surface at all. Like phoenixes seem to be exclusively held in just high regard.
They do. There doesn't seem like there's a real negative side. I mean, in the Cursed Child, there's like the augury, which is like sort of like it's not like when you read about the animal itself, it doesn't like it's sort of described as like a dark phoenix, but like it's not at all in any way like magically or thematically at all.
It's mostly misunderstood.
It's just mostly
like a thestral problem.
Yeah, it has a thestral problem. Mostly just like it like people think it causes rainstorms, but it doesn't. It just like cause when it's about to rain. It like gives warnings, but then people think it's the same thing or something.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's like and like the augury is like a character in the Cursed Child, which incidentally we're seeing tomorrow. That's
true. Yes. So the new traveling show up in DC.
But either way, it's not present at all in this situation. Like the Phoenix they both have a Phoenix tail. So it's like I don't know if Voldemort, like if he hears music like the Phoenix song, like I've always thought like I can't tell if I think the song of the Phoenix specifically it has like a magicalness to it, or if it's more just that like Phoenixes sing extremely beautiful songs and music itself in any form is like magic.
Right. I mean, there is that line that we have in all the way back in, Philosopher's Stone where Dumbledore says like, music, a magic more powerful than anything we teach in these halls.
Yeah. Yes.
And I agree with that. I definitely think there's something to it. But this is kind of like one of those interesting things that I always forget about this next little piece because it's not depicted in the film this way, but it certainly is the canon explanation as to what happens. But it says nothing could have prepared Harry for this. He felt his feet lift from the ground. He and Voldemort were both being raised into the air, their wands still connected by the thread of shimmering golden light. They glided away from the tombstone of Voldemort's father and came to rest in a patch of ground that was clear and free of graves. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why this happens. Like, because it's not like part of me thinks like, as far as the plot goes, it's a way to like make sure that like the web can appear and no Death Eaters are on the inside of the web because they're kind of like regrouping. Like
right.
if you want to write that situation and it's not like anyone got trapped inside, but I don't think it'd be that hard to be like it just appeared before the Death Eaters or whatever. Like unless it's like the specific action is specifically moving them away like from graves or from dead bodies or something.
I know that was the exact curiosity that I had. It was kind of like what is exactly going on here, because it doesn't as it's written, it's suggesting that the power associated is strong enough to lift both participants of the duel clean off the ground and carry them to a different location. So it also wouldn't have just been hard to say that like the surrounding Death Eaters were forced backwards by the dome that was created. Like, if anything, that just makes more sense, as if like the interior of this dome is reserved for those involved with the duel itself.
Right. Or it could have just kept them both floating in the air the whole time and had like a big like bubble around them or something.
Yeah,
you know, there's like ways to get the Death Eaters out of the way. That it's just sort of like it happens and it's just like it just moves.
Right.
For some reason.
Well, yeah, it just moves for some reason. I guess there's something to be said for the fact that phoenixes are, in a sense, immortal. So like maybe like it doesn't want to disturb like gravestones. I don't know if there's like,
could it have like awoken some kind of like, but like, okay, but is this okay, so there's going to be some question of like Priori Incantatem happens if two wands with twin cores meet each other.
Right.
So if you had a wand that had a unicorn tail hair and a unicorn tail hair from the same unicorn and made them fight, that would also get the same effect.
Correct.
However, obviously this version of it has the golden beam, which is at least we don't know if the unicorn one would be like white or something.
Sure. Or silver. Yeah.
Or silver or something like that. But this one also Harry is going to hear the Phoenix song. So it's like, like, and clearly that's coming from this specific core. So like if you had a unicorn Priori Incantatem situation, like would you hear some other magical aspect of the unicorn, or would it be different in some other way?
I know, yeah. Like,
so
go ahead.
What about them floating away is related to it being a phoenix feather, and what about it is related to just the act of Priori Incantatem?
It's a great question, because I do think, I mean, notably, phoenixes have the ability to lift extremely heavy loads.
Well, yeah.
So there is that. Phoenixes can fly, whereas, like a unicorn certainly can't.
Right.
So like the ability to like lift might like lift and move seems in keeping with the phoenix. It still doesn't necessarily seem like it's primary or most important trait of any kind. We know that the phoenix tears have healing powers. So I mean, it feels like way too extraordinary a reach to suggest that possibly like the Phoenix song could like reawaken the dead in the tombstones. And it's almost like,
I don't think about that. I mean, there is like when Harry is running for the cup, it says no longer aware of the pain in his leg. So like, I don't know if that's like, I've always assumed that's just like adrenaline.
I think it is adrenaline, because I think that's going to get taken care of in future chapters. So it's not like that's like healed.
Yeah, it's like it's healed.
Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily solve anything in particular there. The other thing that I think is interesting is that when Harry is ultimately running away, this is gonna be like after the dome is broken. It says 10 feet from Cedric, Harry dived behind a marble angel to avoid jets of red light. The marble angel I think is interesting because I've never picked up on it before. 2, it feels heavily symbolic because it's an angel that's going to block a spell that could have potentially harmed him, but it feels out of place. And I don't know if it's just because I'm picturing the graveyard in the same way that like graveyards are spooky at night, but like during the day, they're kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like in my mind, because marble I think of also as being like pure white. So like it feels like, is it possible that somehow like this angel like sprouted?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Like because it's hard because you've seen the movie. It's like the graveyard looks so spooky, and it's like Voldemort's family is buried there, and like horrible acts brought them there. But it's like not everyone in the town of whatever Little Hangleton was like a bad person.
I mean, realistically, probably not even the favor in which the Riddles would have requested. Their what am I trying to say here? Like, what their tombstones would have looked like. I think in the film, it's like a Grim Reaper.
It's like a Grim Reaper.
Yeah. And it's like, but the real Tom Riddle Sr. was kind of like a hoity-toity, wealthy person. It doesn't seem likely that, in his will or wishes, he would have requested that.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, you're right. Like it seems odd. I'm just trying to think of like anything that happens that we can piece together. Cause the movement, I was like, this is strange. I don't necessarily know why I think this is happening.
Like the guardian angel thing?
No, not the guardian angel thing. Just the physical
movement.
The
moving. The moving of the bubble.
Yeah. But anyway, so they come to rest on a patch of ground that was clear and free of graves. The Death Eaters were shouting. They were asking Voldemort for instructions. They were closing in, reforming the circle around Harry and Voldemort, the snakes slithering at their heels, some of them drawing their wands.
I think the sentence, the Death Eaters were shouting, they were asking Voldemort for instructions, is interesting because like they are probably in a position, like the bubble hasn't formed yet. So they're like in a position to just like shoot stuff at Harry at the moment.
Right.
But like they don't. They're asking, but it's not because they're afraid of Harry and what he's doing. It's because they're afraid of Voldemort.
Right.
That they're like not acting, which again is just Voldemort defeating himself.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Yeah. Y'all, we got to pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Shopify. Okay, so y'all may have noticed that these episodes keep getting longer and the lore is getting deeper, which not only means that recording takes us longer, but so does preparation for each episode, which, to be clear, I love, so no complaints at all here. However, there is so much more that goes into running the show than research and recording. We have a myriad of tasks that we can fortunately handle thanks to Shopify. Shopify is what we use to run our website, Carlin Brothers Mercantile, and it is truly like having a business partner that never sleeps, doesn't drink any of the coffee, and doesn't brag about always being right. And we've tested that. We had a spoof on SPEW shirts once called Gestate, the group for encouraging squib tolerance at the education place. We only sold 4 and Shopify didn't even gloat at all. On the flip side though, there are some products that y'all love more than we ever could have predicted. And Shopify is perfect for letting us know what those shopping trends are, what works and what doesn't. Apparently just ate. Maybe we didn't need software to tell us that. The point is, we use Shopify, and if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Griffin. Go to shopify.com/Griffin. One last time, that's shopify.com/Griffin. Link in the description down below. Let's see here, because you're right. The next thing it says, 1,000 more beams arced high over Harry and Voldemort, crisscrossing all around them until they were enclosed in a golden dome-shaped web.
Yeah. And then Voldemort does start shouting instructions and says, do nothing, which is like, okay. And Harry saw his red eyes wide with astonishment as what was happening. So Voldemort started to lose his composure. It's like up until now, he's like, all right, whatever, I can roll with this. I'm still in the power position here. But now he's just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
This was not supposed to happen.
Yes.
And it is interesting because it also seems like Voldemort is fighting to break the thread of light, still connecting, his wand with Harry. So it's like ultimately Harry will be the one who is able to break it, whether it's because he's given so much strength from instruction from his parents or, seeing everybody or what. But it seems like they are both struggling to physically hold on and keep the connection, but also can't break it any easier either.
Right.
Yep. The golden thread remained unbroken. Do nothing unless I command you, Voldemort shouted to his Death Eaters. So it's kind of like, okay, well, that explains why nobody attacks Harry.
Yep, as ever. And then here we go. And then an unearthly and beautiful sound filled the air. So this is the Phoenix song. It was the sound of hope to Harry, the most beautiful and welcome thing he'd ever heard in his life. He felt as though the song were inside him instead of just around him. It was the sound he connected with Dumbledore, and it was almost as though a friend were speaking in his ear. So that all of that is just so interesting because it's like it clearly lifts Harry up and like swells his like confidence in the moment.
Yes.
In a way that it doesn't seem like it's working for Voldemort, which doesn't seem incorrect. It doesn't seem like Voldemort would be like able to understand, music or anything in the same way that he can't understand Quidditch or house elves or whatever.
All those other things, yeah. But it's also interesting because like this is the piece of lore that we never really properly got to understand about Phoenixes as it pertains to the Dumbledore family. Because like when inside of Fantastic Beasts, we got some really important lines that were kind of like, okay, that's interesting. But Dumbledore will say that he's always had an affinity for the birds, and that a Dumbledore or a Phoenix will come to a Dumbledore in need. And it's kind of like we do ultimately discover that Credence's character, is in fact Aurelius Dumbledore, and that like a Phoenix does arrive to Credence, but then there's questions as to like at what point, like, is that Phoenix Fawkes? And like, what happens to Credence and how does it become Dumbledore's? And
I know there's so many unanswered questions. I feel like we're just never going to know because they're never going to make 4 and 5.
I know.
And
yeah.
It's like, just, you know what? Just write the books. Just write, you can start over, go to Fantastic Beasts and just start over and just, write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. It's fine. I'll take it.
No big deal. Yeah.
No big deal.
We won't complain.
I'll redo the first 3. You can even change it some. It doesn't have to match the movie. Change it.
It's all good. Yeah.
It's all fine. But then, okay, so this line here, though, says it was almost as though a friend were speaking in his ear. This was a big, a big crux on our Once Upon a Theory. What if Dumbledore made a Horcrux?
Yes.
And the idea was that Dumbledore had made Fawkes into a Horcrux.
Yes.
And then that prior to Fawkes giving the tail feathers to the wands, meaning that each of the wands was then also holding a tiny piece of Dumbledore's soul. And so when Harry hears the friend speaking in his ear, don't break the connection, that it's actually Dumbledore and that's his piece of soul in there. That obviously it's not true, but that was just so you know, this was like this line here, that theory got noticed, or it got noticed by J.K. Rowling, and she responded on Twitter and said, I can't believe anyone would believe this or something.
Yeah. Well, I think it's still a pretty, it feels like that happened, and then the Fantastic Beasts series came out, and we were learning like a lot about Dumbledore's past and his relationship with Fawkes and everything to do with all of the associated bits. And it was sort of like, okay, you say you didn't like it, but also it feels like a lot of this stuff is exploring a lot of the same things.
A lot of the same things. Feels like, maybe, who knows? That would be that'd be wild. That'd be wild if it was connected in any way.
Well, so yeah, the other thing I wanted to add there, just because I feel like I have an additional piece of curiosity to expand upon as it pertains to Dumbledores and Phoenixes, is whether or not they become Phoenixes in death.
I know that is like a big question,
right? Because it seems there is a line in Half-Blood Prince where basically the White Tomb is set into place and sealed, and I think like a burst of flame comes out of it, and it's I think Harry says for like a fleeting moment he swore he saw like a bird erupt, from the top of it, but then it was gone.
Right.
And so this is, it's very curious because it makes you wonder whether or not, like, does a Phoenix appear to a Dumbledore in need, or do Dumbledores become Phoenixes like in death? Like,
right.
What is actually happening there? And again, to go back to the Fantastic Beasts things, you have the whole situation where there was,
the baby swap.
The baby swap ends up making everything super complicated, because then there's also the predictions of Tychodonus, which is like return great Avenger with wings from the water or whatever. Like the wings from the water very clearly seems like it would be like if
the
a baby
who died.
If there was a baby who perished who was a Dumbledore and then reemerged as with wings from the water as a Phoenix, then it would be like Dumbledore's Phoenixes. Like it all
feels like it should fit, but then it's not actually the Dumbledore baby that drowned. That's the real Credence. Not the real Credence. The real oh my gosh,
Lestrange,
Corvus
Lestrange.
It's the real Corvus Lestrange. That's who perished, and then Aurelius Dumbledore, aka Credence, is the one that Lita ends up accidentally saving.
Yeah.
And so, but then you can see where it's like, oh, well, look, you two babies clearly had some sort of like fated, not fatal. Well, fatal also, but fated moment together. One of you drowned, one of you was saved. And then there's this prediction about return great Avenger with wings from the water, and it's like, okay, so we have a Dumbledore and a prediction that return from the water, someone drowned in the water, and now there's wings and Phoenixes appear to Dumbledores, and it's like, did the baby become the Phoenix? Is that what happened?
Exactly. I mean, these are the questions, and in case you guys are wondering, or if it's even like hard to follow, I completely understand, because I think we studied the heck. I mean, we spent so much time with Crimes of Grindelwald because we wanted it to work. Like, we wanted there to be a reason why it wasn't just pure nonsense. And it was like, we spent, I don't even know how many theories we made out of it.
So many.
Like, I mean, we tried so hard to it's like nobody could say that we didn't try to enjoy what was being given to us. It's it's such a mess.
Even his name, Corvus Lestrange, that just means the strange raven, which would Phoenix would be a pretty strange raven,
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I feel like we broke for a rant about Fantastic Beasts in the middle of one of the most important scenes.
This is such an important scene.
I don't know what we're doing. I'm sorry. Okay. So don't break the connection. I know Harry told the music. I know I mustn't. But no sooner had he thought it than the thing became that much harder to do. And I feel like I've experienced that before too, where it's just sort of like you're kind of like, I can do this. And then it's like, now it's harder.
Right. Yes. I know exactly this feeling. It's like there's this game I play on my VR headset called Beat Sabers.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, sometimes if you're just sort of staring down towards the end of the row of like, what happens is you're like holding lightsabers and you're like hitting these blocks and there's music playing or whatever. And if you just sort of like stare down past the blocks, you're like, peripheral vision will pick up the way you're supposed to swing the blades and hit the arrows and whatever. And it's like, but every now and then it'll throw you like a tricky one and you'll miss it. And you'll be like, hold on, let me try and look at the blocks and stare there. As soon as you start looking at the blocks, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike. You can't stare at the wheel in front of you. You got to look forward.
Exactly.
Otherwise you'll make too many micro movements.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Harry felt his wand give a shudder under his hand as the light beads began to slide slowly and steadily his way. So this is sort of like all of a sudden, Voldemort is able to kind of like use all of his just sheer raw power to kind of like win the argument, if you will.
I guess so. I don't even read it as like Voldemort is like doing this intentionally. I sort of, my take on this is that like Harry suddenly sort of gets it. He sees the beads and it's like, it's coming towards him because Voldemort just happens to be way more powerful.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Voldemort is like, forcing it.
No. I think that's really what Harry ends up doing is that he like sort of makes eye contact with the beads and then sort of like not knowing, why, or what he's doing. It says he concentrated every last particle of his mind upon forcing the bead back towards Voldemort, his ears full of Phoenix song, his eyes furious, fixed, and slowly, very slowly, the beads quivered to a halt. And then, just as slowly, they began to move the other way.
Oh, and it was Voldemort's wand that was vibrating extra hard now. Voldemort, who looked astonished and almost fearful, very afraid.
Yes.
Very afraid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the beads of light was quivering inches from the tip of Voldemort's wand. And it's like, you start to wonder, like, how far apart were they? It's
I know.
Like, in my head, it's like 30 yards, but in reality, it's probably like 10 feet.
Yeah, right. Like, they're probably pretty close to each other here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Harry didn't understand why he was doing it. He didn't know what it might achieve, but he now concentrated as hard as he'd ever done in his life on forcing that bead of light right back into Voldemort's wand. And slowly, very slowly, it moved along the golden thread. It trembled for a moment, and then it connected.
Yes, boom. And now we're going to get the big thing. And it just not for nothing, and not to talk about Fantastic Beasts again, but if you watch the duel between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, like in Secrets of Dumbledore, this is exactly what happens.
It is exactly what happens.
Exactly what happens.
A dome forms around them, and their wands connect, and they're basically like forcing
there's a bead
back and forth, and it's sort of
which must means they have twin cores, and we know that Grindelwald has the Elder Wand, which means Dumbledore's original wand must have a Thestral hair in it.
It's so infuriating.
It's so annoying that we don't have the answers. I'm so.
It's either it's one of two things. It's either brilliant and frustrating, we don't have the answers, or it's sloppy, and it's like using plot devices that we all have a strong affinity for and just throwing them around. And it's like, you can't just this is very special and important.
Right.
So it's like, if you're gonna do that, the outcome has to be very special and important.
Words have to mean things. Okay?
Yes, exactly. Don't mess with us.
But please make the fourth movie. Or just tell us what was going to happen.
Can you guys feel the tangible frustration? Because I can't even tell you. It's like, for people who love something so much to be so frustrated with the same thing so much. Anyway, it's not the point.
The casting for the TV show looks really good.
There's that.
There's that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. One of the curiosities I have that I wanted to bring up is, what do you think would have happened? Like, if it had gone back into Harry's wand? It's like, it seems ominous. Like, it seems almost as if, like, Harry losing that like battle, that bead, back and forth, like, push game that they're playing, like, it seems like something bad would happen to Harry, but realistically, it would just start regurgitating his own spells.
I mean, it would have Expelliarmus would come at, well, not even that. That's the current spell that's going on, so I don't think that would go. What's the last spell he did? It would just be everything he was doing in the maze.
Yeah, I think it's like Impedimenta and Stupefy, maybe against the spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of 4-point spells.
Yeah. It's Voldemort's over there like, boy, this kid really doesn't know where he's going in life.
Nerd!
What is that? Was that a compass?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing for you.
Come on. How hard is a maze, Potter? Keep your right hand on the maze. You'll get to the middle.
Is that a fact?
Well, there are some, I think that's like a trick where it's like, if you're in a maze, if you keep your right hand on the wall, it means like you won't like retrace your same steps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because then even if you get turned around, you'll be going the other direction.
Right. Yeah. You won't. Yeah. I think there are ways that if you were a clever maze maker, you could avoid this and trap people in a circle or something. But in general, that will work. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You'll end up, you might go down a bunch of dead ends, but you won't like backtrack or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your new right will be your former left.
Right. All the time. Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
We'll get there eventually.
Yep. Let's see here. A dense, smoky hand flew out of the tip of it and vanished. This is like one of those details that I feel like I often forget about, is that Wormtail's hand is the first thing we see. So that's a little just like piece of trivia. Like, what is the first piece?
Well, the first one is actually the Echoing Screams, which is the Crucio he put on Harry.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point. So let me modify in case somebody asks us that, because I'm going to write Wormtail's hand on tour when you inevitably ask me this question. But the correct answer, and I personally am saying it right now, are the Echoing Screams, which is the Cruciatus curse that he used on him.
Yeah.
But notably not the Imperius curse.
Notably not the Imperius curse. Exactly.
Right.
That should come out, right?
Right.
He still cast it. I guess it wouldn't. Let's see. At once, Voldemort's bombing in to emit echoing screams of pain. So it just sort of, maybe because that one like didn't really work.
Right. Yeah. That's.
Or I guess there's not really a good way to like visually show it or something.
It's just like I imagine it's just like a little like puff.
Yeah. Poof. Yeah.
It's like, hey, what was that one?
What was that? What was that one?
I hear the screams. What was that one?
Nothing about that. Nothing to see there.
Nothing to see there.
Yeah. So we have the silver hand, which comes out and then vanishes. That's the ghost of the hand who made Wormtail. More shouts of pain. That's when he was doing Crucio on Avery. Then something large began to blossom from Voldemort's wand tip. And Cedric Diggory is back, but not really, guys.
But not really back.
Yeah.
No. He is completely gone.
Yeah.
But also back. And it is interesting to get the description because it is sort of like the thick gray ghost of Cedric Diggory. Was it a ghost? And this is kind of like an interesting one because we have had a theory before where we've broken down the Resurrection Stone because we've talked a little bit about. We just sort of mentioned it, how there could have been a brother wand to the elder wand, which would be essential for what I'm about to say next. But whether or not they could have, like, you have the three brothers, the Peveril brothers.
Right.
So it wouldn't be completely unusual if there is like the elder wand and then the other brothers have wands that also have that same
Came from the same Thestral.
Exactly. And maybe if the Resurrection Stone was basically created by essentially forcing like this almost like Priori Incantatem
effect like into a rock.
Into a rock.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you've created, for all intents and purposes, like a shortcut to the ghosts that come out of Priori Incantatem, and that is what you can return from the dead.
Right.
But not the real thing.
Right. So instead of just like, but it feels like it's not like because this brings back the like shapes from people as if they're like behind the veil or whatever.
Right.
And which is like what the Resurrection Stone does. But like Priori Incantatem is like reverse spells. So this would have to be like something else about the stone has to be like able to bring back just specifically the people you love or something.
Right. Yes. Like it has to be like a very, very, very specific and focused like regeneration of this kind of magic.
Right.
But really what I'm trying to say is I think that the similarities between how the second brother's late fiance is described is quite similar to what we get about Cedric.
Exactly.
And because of that, it kind of makes me believe that somehow those brands of magic are tightly woven together.
I agree. It feels like there was a brother wand, and that it was some version of Priori Incantatem was like instilled into the Resurrection Stone, and that's how it was created.
Right.
That's what it feels like. Anyway, Cedric gets up and he has hold on, Harry. It said, not even he. Poor Cedric. Its voice was distant and echoing. Harry looked over to Voldemort. His red eyes were still shocked. So, and the number one thing Voldemort fears is the dead. So he is like really freaking out right now.
Yes. This would absolutely do it. More screams of pain from the wand, and then something else had emerged from a tip. The dense shadow of a second head, quickly followed by arms and a torso. An old man Harry had seen only in a dream was now pushing himself out of the end of the wand, just as Cedric has done. And his ghost or shadow, whatever it was, fell next to Cedric and surveyed Harry and Voldemort and the golden web and connected wands with mild surprise, leaning on his walking stick. He was a real wizard then, said the old man. Killed me, that one did. You fight it, boy.
So yeah, this is Frank Bryce from the very first chapter.
Yes. Okay. Here is something that I think is kind of interesting, is that when the next person who's going to come out is going to be the shadow of Bertha Jorkins, and it's going to say, "Don't let go," she cried. Her voice echoed like Cedric's, as though from far away. It's interesting that it echoes like Cedric's when Frank also talked.
Right. That is interesting.
Everyone else's will echo, but Frank is the only Muggle.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too. So it's clearly not ghosts because Muggles can't go back as ghosts.
Right.
So this is a very unique experience for Frank, especially.
Yeah.
Because,
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a good point. Yeah. But I think that's very interesting because it's going to come back. I might have to scan ahead just a little bit to find the line. But it seems like that sort of like echoing voice. Okay, let's see here. This is going to be when James comes out. It says he walked close to Harry, looking down at him, and he spoke in the same distant voice, or the same distant echoing voice as the others, but quietly, so that Voldemort, his face now livid with fear as his victims prowled around him, could not hear. It's interesting that it seems like Frank is like excluded from this echoey voice phenomenon.
Well, it says the others, which could vaguely refer to all of them.
It could vaguely mean that.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't specifically say it when he does talk.
Right.
Yeah. And it does like skip over him after Bertha. So it does make you wonder if there's something about like wizards versus muggles coming back in this like form.
Right.
But it
yes.
just affects their voice, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what else it
Yeah.
would be, but I was like, well, that's kind of like a weird thing there.
I guess, I don't know. No, I was going to say maybe it matters if you're like near where you died, but we're right next to Cedric, even though we're also pretty close to where Frank died.
That's a good point. Yeah. You could make the argument because it's sort of like everybody, you know, James and Lily are traveling theoretically from Godric's Hollow.
Right.
Or the graveyard there.
Yeah, like maybe it sounds like they're coming from that far away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then Cedric would sound like he was right there.
Yeah, because
he is.
He's like 12 feet away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. But then, okay, here is where we get to what you were talking about earlier, where they change something.
Yes.
So, because the next person to come out is, of course, Lily, and it reads, and Harry knew when he saw it who it would be. He knew as though he had expected it from the moment when Cedric had appeared from the wand. Knew because the woman appearing was the one he thought of more than any other tonight. And this is, of course, Lily Potter coming out of it. But that sentence was initially misprinted, or at least not misprinted, but the order was incorrect. This was initially James coming out first, and it said it was the man he'd thought about more than any other tonight.
Yes. And that is what I think is really interesting about it, because this order is correct, because James dies first.
Right.
Which means that he would come out of the wand last.
Yes.
So that does make sense. But the big switch up there, so it's like, you know, now we have the right order, and Lily is coming out when she's supposed to come out. But I think the big thing is that, like, even going back to the maze, Harry, when he casts his Patronus against the Dementor, is like sad to see it go. And,
right.
And Prongs is his father for all intents and purposes.
Right.
And going back to that line, you know, I had earlier, it's basically like, you know, he was going to die upright like his father, and he was going to die trying to defend himself, even if no defense was possible. So, like,
well, even before that, Voldemort says you're going to die like your father, standing upright or whatever.
Yes,
you
exactly.
know, so yeah, you're right. You've had Prongs in the maze. You've had 2 references to James in the duel.
Right.
You've had Peter not able to make eye contact with Harry.
Right. Also that.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's like in no part of me would ever undersell the utter importance of Lily to this story.
Yeah.
But
she has not come up.
She hasn't come up in the same way that it feels like James has throughout the course of this particular evening. So
Right.
that's like the one thing where it's like, I feel like they changed this piece, but maybe didn't change those other pieces.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's like, it's just maybe a little bit like, is Lily the person he thought about more than anyone else tonight?
Yeah, that sentence catches you off guard because it's like Lily hasn't been mentioned while James has been mentioned 3 times.
Exactly.
And that is because it was initially written with James in mind for this sentence. And there are copies of the book where it says James came out, but that is just like a bad math on which order they were supposed to come out on.
Yes. Yeah. So it'll even go down and say, like, your father's coming, she said quietly. Hold on for your father. It will be all right. Hold on. And even that line used to say, your mother's coming, he said quietly. Hold on for your mother. It will be all right. Hold on.
Right. It feels like it feels like Lily should be the last one because she's the one who made the big sacrifice. Like she should be like the big finale.
Right.
But that's not obviously what actually happened. But I can see why it was written in the wrong way, because like it makes it has better rhythm with what's happened for the rest of the night.
That's exactly right.
It's just not what happened.
It's just not what happened.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. And I think that might be like one of those like moments in writing where you just sort of have to like sit with the resolve that is the narrative and lore that you've created and just be okay with it not being perfect.
Right.
That to me is like the best way to accept it. It's like this is how it should be. It makes it mildly imperfect.
Right.
Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. I still love this moment. This is a glorious, and very important moment for the whole series. So, but anyway, yeah. So, Lily shows up and says, your father's coming. Hold on for your father. And he came. First his head, then his body, tall and untidy hair like Harry. The smoky shadow form of James Potter blossomed from the end of Voldemort's wand. Fell to the ground and straightened himself like his wife. He walked close to Harry, looking down at him, and he spoke in the same distant echoing voice as the other, but quietly so that Voldemort, his face now livid with fear as his victim crowd around him, could not hear.
Yeah, I bet he is like, what is happening?
Or, gosh, I don't know if Peter can see this, but...
Oh, boy.
That's a tough one.
I bet he can. I bet he can. He is just like, oh, James. Oh, dear. Sorry about that.
My bad, buddy.
My bad for me. You have to don't know the Dark Lords, but I tried.
I agreed with Lupin and Sirius. They should have killed you.
Yeah.
No. When the connection is broken, we will linger for only moments, but we will give you time. You must get to the Portkey. It will return you to Hogwarts. Do you understand, Harry?
How could they possibly know this?
That is literally what I wrote.
Yeah.
And I wrote it in really sloppy handwriting, and then I apologize to whoever gets this page for the sloppy handwriting.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, so this is one where it's another one that we've written many theories about, because there's a huge argument as to why the Portkey works twice. And we've always sort of come back to this sentiment that Voldemort always intended to return. And just here recently, I think we actually sort of expanded a little bit on this since last week's episode came out, but like the potential role that Nagini could have been playing here. We know that Nagini can take the form of people, a la Bathilda Bagshot. And the rough idea is that the last person that Dumbledore would have wanted to return, or the last person that Voldemort would have wanted to know of his return is Dumbledore, because Dumbledore is otherwise his biggest obstacle past Harry. But if he could send Nagini back as Harry, as a highly venomous snake, and then the first person who encounters Harry upon his return is Dumbledore, he could have just basically had Harry dissolve into Nagini. Nagini shoots out, attacks Dumbledore, and 1-2 punch. He's killed Harry and Dumbledore in the same night.
Heck, and then Fudge is there too. Just,
I mean, just go for the trifecta while you're at it. The other thought that did cross my mind upon reading that particular sentence is the outside shot that somehow the James, Lily, Cedric, all these people can inject the magic into the Portkey.
They can set it up.
How else? I just don't know how they know about it.
Well, okay. Here's my theory on that: is that like when Dumbledore meets Harry in King's Cross Station, he seems to kind of know everything Harry's done.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Like, even though he's been dead.
Right.
Like, so it suggests that there's a certain amount of like the dead are just like watching over. Like they can just watch what's happening. They can't do anything about it, but they can watch. They can see it.
Right.
So like that makes it sound like they were able to watch and hear Voldemort give the plans to turn the Portkey or turn the cup into the Portkey. And like they know what the full plan is, and they can tell Harry what to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. And plus it keeps intact all of our other theories, which I like better.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
always love things that help our own theories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you get the, just honestly, I know we've made so many jokes, but this is truly heartbreaking, which is just Cedric saying, Harry, take my body back. Will you take my body back to my parents? And it's sort of like, this is like a massive thing, because I think it speaks to, really both the characters, but it's an additional layer that Harry's going to have to account for in his quest to return. But it's so important to even Harry, that it's like, it is worth the extra seconds it will take me.
Yeah, I know. Harry's not down there like, were you kidding me, bro? You got kind of busy.
It's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
But no, I think it just speaks to Harry's goodness that he understands the importance of this request.
You know who Cedric doesn't mention here? Cho. And she's going to ask about it. She's going to ask.
She's going to want to know if I had anything else to say. And I did.
Yeah. Harry, you look at Harry. It's not like he doesn't follow up. Anything you want me to tell Cho? No? Okay.
Yeah.
You were going to pick up with her? I'll tell her. Yeah.
You liked Fleur the whole time.
The whole time? I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
All right, cool. See ya. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Do it now, whispered his father's voice. Be ready to run. Do it now. Now, Harry yelled.
Harry yells now, not James.
Right.
No! And Voldemort was like, what's now?
What's that? Where?
Oh,
We're
man.
being ambushed. He pulled his wand upward with an almighty wrench. That's what I was referring to earlier, is that like it just seems like Voldemort himself also can't break it. So something has changed, or the ghosts basically have given Harry so much power as to kind of enable him to do it.
Right.
The Phoenix Song died, but the shadowy figures of Voldemort's victims did not disappear. They were closing in upon Voldemort, shielding Harry from his gaze. Oftentimes, I always think that like I'm surprised that this is as effective as it ends up being. But I think the real thing is something you've already shed light on in this chapter, which is that Voldemort is terrified of death. So these, apparitions,
dead shapes,
approaching him are probably scaring him beyond belief.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yep. So they basically just give Harry like 2 or 3 seconds worth of time to like confusion to break free of the crowd and just start sprinting.
Right. Yes. Yep. Then, and I like this. As Harry ran, as he had never run in his life, knocking 2 stunned Death Eaters aside as he passed. I like to think one of them's not.
Yeah. Right. Not that having a good night.
He
thought it was a good night. He's like, oh my God, honey, reunion. I'm going to the party. I'll be back late.
Don't stay up.
How'd it go? Not good.
No.
Not good, pun intended. Voldemort laughed at me. The other Death Eaters laughed at me. The Potter kid got away.
Look, I have a bruise on my shoulder from where he knocked me
hit
over.
Me. I was just like, there was this bright light and there was a golden cage and...
I'm not going to lie to you. The Potter kid's pretty cool.
He cast Imperius on him and it didn't work. And I was kind of like, whoa, that's weird. Like, are you really sure we're back at full power, Big V? I had to play it off like I was cool with it because I didn't want him to like attack me. He hit Avery with the Crucio curse.
Right.
He gave Worm. You remember Pettigrew? No, he was just this like the little squirrely kid. He like gave him a silver hand or something. I don't know.
Seems strong.
Guess he's a rat now. I don't. Missed a lot. I feel like I missed a lot. People were not telling me anything.
I was just confused.
I was confused.
I was confused.
Well, did you have fun? I'm just, I need to go to bed. I'll talk about it in the morning.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so then as Harry's running full bore right through Knot, Voldemort is screaming, "Stun him!" 10 feet from Cedric, Harry dived behind a marble angel to avoid the jets of red light and saw the tip of its wings shatter as the spells hit it.
Boom. Let's see. Then Harry, he shoots an impedimenta back behind him. I guess maybe he hits one. I think he does the same thing in the Battle of the Seven Potters, doesn't he?
Who do you think he hits?
Not, obviously. Then he hit me with he bruised my shoulder. I got hit with a impediment. I couldn't even chase him. I was like stuck in slow motion for like, no one remembered. Like he was gone and Voldemort's yelling at everyone and I'm over there like, I was like falling down for 10 seconds. Ugh. It's terrible.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. I don't know. I guess we're going to start like a whole brand new dark regime in the morning. There's like a whole meeting I have to go to at Lucius's, but like I'm
tired.
spent. I've been back at work for one day,
right?
And I'm not in the rhythm of it. I'll get back. I'll get back to it.
Yeah. Sure thing, sweetie.
Sure thing. All right.
Let's see here. He jumped over the cup and dived as he heard more wand blasts behind him. More jets of light flew over his head as he fell, stretching out his hand to grab Cedric's arm. "Stand aside! I will kill him. He is mine!" shrieked Voldemort. And if he had just let anybody do this, then his plans may have actually worked out better.
Might have. I guess they're all shooting spells at him. They're all missing. I like how also Harry forgets he can do magic here and says, but Cedric was too heavy to carry.
Oh, yes.
I think he tries to lift him first.
Right.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
This guy is strong.
Woo, oh, boy. Yeah. All right.
He was hitting the gym.
Yeah, it was.
Dang. Sorry.
The cup was out of reach. Voldemort's red eyes. Oh, here we go again. And Harry uses Accio to summon the Triwizard Cup to him, the same spell he used to get past the dragon, and also suggested that he master from Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
So we got Expelliarmus from Snape. We got throwing off the Imperius Curse for Barty Crouch Jr. And we got Accio from Barty Crouch Jr. So all three things Harry does on this evening could be super avoided at the Death Eater. And yeah.
Yeah, he's just like storming around. He's like, who do you think taught him those spells?
Who do you think? I don't know. Not me.
Not me.
Not in the mood. No? Okay. Sorry.
Try twice. What are you going to do? Harry caught it by the handle. He heard Voldemort scream of fury at the same moment that he felt a jerk behind his navel that meant that the portkey had worked. It was speeding him away in a whirl of wind and color, and Cedric along with him. They were going back.
Boom. They did it. We got away from Voldemort somehow. Man, do you think this is like, do you think Voldemort ends the night thinking like, do you think it ruined his like I have a body now? Or is he just like, well, man, you know what? It's okay, guys. Because guess what? I still got a body.
Who wants drinks?
Who wants it? I'm going. You guys want to go to the Hanged Man? It's this great little pub in town.
I know Dot down there.
I know
She'll be thrilled to see me.
It's gonna be good. She's gonna be happy. Well, you know what? We'll kill those people. How does that sound? You guys want to do that?
Right.
All right.
Just a
Potter
little.
got away. I want this to be a fun night. This is my rebirthing party.
Right. People are going to talk about it for ages.
We
can't have it going down as a
like a
tragedy.
big failure.
Yes,
yeah. Wormtail's buying. Let's go.
That's it. Just shave some of your hand off.
Yeah. Shave some of your hand. I guess if they kill everyone, they won't need to pay for anything. They probably don't pay for much.
You know what?
Yeah.
Now that we've reconsidered, I think you're right. I think you're right. Hopefully people aren't upset with us for having such a humorous take on chapter 34 of Goblet of Fire.
That's why people are here, Ben.
I hope so.
Oh,
that brings us to the end of the chapter. Jay, do you have a review for us?
Well, but of course I do. This comes from T-Majors. All right. A theory. I'm just listening to Through the Gryffindor podcast for the first time, and I know this is several years late, but I couldn't help but notice how y'all skipped over the weatherman in chapter 1 of Sorcerer's Stone is named Ted. I've always thought this was Ted Tonks in the first chapter of The Boy Who Lived. Then 9 minutes in on the evening news. Although owls normally hunt at night and we hardly ever see daylight, there have been hundreds of sightings of these birds flying in every direction since sunrise. Experts are unable to explain why these owls have suddenly changed their sleeping pattern. The newscaster allowed himself a grin. Most mysterious. Now over to Jim McGuffin for the weather. Any more showers of owls tonight, Jim? Jim. Well, Ted, I don't know about that, but... So... Of course, Ted Tonks is a muggle, right?
Well, he's muggle-born.
Muggle-born.
Yes.
Muggle-born, yeah.
But he allowed himself a smile.
Yeah.
That part to me totally is sort of like, wait a second. Do you know what's up?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's an interesting question. And surely at this point in time, because Nymphadora is not that much older than Harry, right? Like she's early 20s.
Yeah. She's like new or so maybe like 20. I think what does McGonagall say? How many more years of training do you need?
5?
Like 5, so 23, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. 22, 23.
Yeah,
somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
So that means so that good little chunk older than Harry. So he would have already been married to Andromeda, and I mean, either which way, I mean, I guess it would be kind of interesting if he chose a muggle profession as a wizard.
As a wizard. He's a newscaster.
He is sort like I could see him almost being like Arthur Weasley's like Dinkelberg, you know, where it's sort of like Ted Tonks is living the muggle life the way that that like Arthur never could.
He's I guess it's less weird if he has a muggle profession if he's muggle born.
True. I mean, that's a good point. Like, I mean, because you could even by the time he got his letter to Hogwarts, he could. I mean, plenty of 11-year-olds know what they want to do when they get older. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah. Sure.
So it certainly doesn't seem impossible to think that he may have chosen that particular path. Plus, it would definitely it's a huge red mark. Like Andromeda also gets blasted from the Black family tree for marrying a muggle-born, but she's still marrying a wizard.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, also bear in mind though, what makes me like it more is that is the report on the morning of November 1st.
Yes, right. The day after Voldemort's downfall.
Right. So, and it's on the news. So all of the news before that would have been like bad Voldemort news.
Right.
Right. So maybe I can see a world where if you're Ted Tonks, you're like, hey, maybe the way I help is to protect the muggles by like giving them warnings on the news, being like the mouthpiece for the wizards to like, here's what's happening, or even just, informing wizards or whatever.
Do we have any knowledge as to whether or not, obviously Tonks is part of the Order of the Phoenix. Do we have any thought that their parents could have been as well? That her parents could have been?
Andromeda is, I remember the Black. We don't know that for sure. No.
They certainly,
but like Lee Jordan, that's basically what Lee Jordan's doing. He has like the radio show, but he's not like a member of the Order of the Phoenix.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Honestly, it sounds silly. And like at the first thought, it's like, haha, that's kind of fun. But now that like you think about it through that lens, it's sort of like it would make sense to specifically put someone in a position to do this kind of job.
And Tonks is a Metamorph Magi. Right?
Yeah.
So and there's no confirmation that he is at all.
But he could change his appearance.
But if he could change his appearance, then he could have like a public facing appearance that is different from his actual appearance. That would make him safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I
don't see
very little to go on, but like, why not?
It doesn't hurt anybody.
It doesn't hurt anybody. Yeah. We
yeah.
know he's like aligned on the correct side, and there's some plausible explanations here and there.
Right. Is it the case that we also learn, and I can't remember, is it possible that we learn about the death of Ted Tonks through Lee Jordan's radio show?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Because I feel like that would also sort of like bring it full circle. Maybe not in the way that you want, but like, it would be interesting just to see like somebody else has picked up the mantle, and like that's where you're hearing about that specific thing.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
Sure.
I like it. Clearly it's a very low stakes,
low stakes theory
situation, but who's it hurting? So
who's it hurting?
Yeah. I think perfect. Who wrote that in? That's a great thought.
That was by T Majors.
T Majors. Good thought, T Majors. Thank you for,
I think probably that didn't occur to us. One, it's just never occurred to me anyway. But then, I always get stuck on Jim MacGuffin, because MacGuffin is just always the word for like the shiny thing the characters need to get.
Yes. Which in Philosopher's Stone is
the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone, yeah.
Yeah, that's the MacGuffin.
Because we never really even see the MacGuffin do what the MacGuffin can do.
Yeah.
At least not on page. So that's really fun. And then the other funny thing there, I guess, is I don't know when we learned Ted Tonks as a name for the first time. I can't remember if we hear about it. Like, I think we learn that Ted has Muggle parents when Tonks comes to pick him up in Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or of Muggle grandparents, I guess.
Right. Well, yeah. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Muggle grandparents.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I was going to say the other thing that makes it hard to connect is that they're just so physically far apart.
Yeah.
In the pages.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because almost certainly this was not the intent, but it can be true.
You know what else helps is like Kingsley is out there working.
That's true.
The other minister.
Prime minister. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like a pretty high ranking. He goes on to be the new Minister of Magic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. There are wizard protection acts out there for the Muggles. Even the pamphlets are like, just cast a spell on your neighbor's home. You might save a life or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
Amazing. All right. Well, that should do us for today's episode. Thank you guys so much, as always, for listening. If you'd like to get in on the annual patronage, we do have a couple of really cool perks going on right now that include receiving one of our pages, which Jay and I have heavily marked up, whether it's highlighting different things, scribbling notes into the margins. We sign every single page. So if you sign up for an annual membership, we will send you a page from one of our books.
Yes.
You will get that in the mail. And then also, if you sign up before the end of July 2025, so July 31st, 2025, you will also receive a very exclusive Gumpster Fire pin, which is an homage to our lovely snowy owl here in-house, Gumpine, who hangs out here with us all the time. So if you want to check that out, it's patreon.com/throughthegryffindor. Links in all of the obvious spots.
Yes, but otherwise, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure you join us next week for Chapter 35, Veritaserum, here on Through the Gryffindor.
Today's episode was edited by Ethan Edghill. Vaishon Brandon does our art. Catherine Stein is our production manager, and the show is hosted by me and Jonathan Carlin.